Alright, so I saw a video on Tate doing this video, so I'll go more in depth about it. So, 4 ways to make money, like the 4 main ways to make money, right? The first one is you trade your time for money. So this is like the most easiest traditional way to make money, right? Everybody does that. It's like working a normal job. Like I trade my time for money. I work a part-time job. Your parents may do as well. They may be working a full-time job. You trade your time for money. It's where you have a wage and you work for certain hours. So this is a good base for most people, but just remember to not overdo it, because you have a certain amount of time in this world, a limited time in this world, and you don't want to waste it on just work, right? You don't want to just waste your time on that. So slowly reduce your hours while you gain hours on. Basically, I'll put a link down in the description below on how to escape the 9 to 5 rat race, and that explains more in depth about like trading your time for money, and it explains it more in depth, right? There's a link in the description. Again, I said down below. It's a video about me talking about it even more. So don't overdo this one. Don't overdo this one. It's just for like a quick base so you can start living, right? Because you don't want, how you gonna live if you don't work, right? So yeah. So if you're working most of your days and you expect to be rich, spoiler alert, that's wrong. So let's say there's a maximum wage of 19 bucks, right? And you work 19 bucks per hour. Like, there's only 24 hours in one day, and you still need to sleep, you still need to eat and whatnot. And if all you do is save, you eventually get rich, but you're gonna be already old. So what's the point? What's the point of being rich when you're old? It doesn't matter, right? The point of being rich is so you can live rich, right? And how you gonna live rich if you're already old? It's just dumb, right? And if you want to pass it on to your kids, like you're trying to make some generational wealth, it's dumb, because if you get rich, right? If you get rich by using the slow lane, and the slow lane is work until you reach a certain age where you get money. If you get rich through a slow lane and you give it to your son will either be, one, spoiled, two, he will go down the slow lane as well. And so you're not really learning anything. You're just going down the traditional path of what doesn't work. You need to take a different path. People, like, they keep passing down to generation, and people keep getting hooked onto this thing where all you do is get a job, go to college, and save. And so then it becomes a tradition and people just keep doing it. But this is the slow lane. And so why do people keep doing it? Even if it doesn't work out that great, or like it doesn't have that much immense results, because it's secure. And if it's secure, it's average. Everybody does it. But you don't want secure. You may want security, but if you have security, then that means there's no risk. And if there's no risk, there's no reward. The higher the risk, the higher the reward. So basically, yeah, the higher the risk, the higher the reward. So the second way is you trade information for money. And this could come in the form of a book. It could come in the form of a skill course, a website like Hustlers University, where it teaches you things, right? Even Hamza's channel, he trades information for money. He takes in knowledge and then he posts it on YouTube, even like me, posts it on YouTube and gives information. And so that gives him ad revenue. And so he gets money for that. He even has like a skill course and a website for it, right? So the third way is to do product or service for money, right? You do product or service for money. T-shirts, you make t-shirts, you become a barber, you do car wash, whatever, you become a car fixer, you become a lawnmower, whatever it may be, you're an electrician, whatever. And then the last way is through corporates. Corporates, like people who make people do things. Like there's the people who trade their time for money, like the people who gets wages, and then the corporates pay them, right? And then the corporate is the highest. And so mostly these corporates are evil people, bruh. They're evil people. They don't really care for their customers or whatnot. They just care about getting that income, right? These guys are crazy, right? So basically, the point of this video is to explain what Andrew Tate was saying and also emerge it together what MJ DeMarco is saying about the slow lane and the fast lane. So basically, the slow lane is where you trade your time for money, right? And you will reach that goal. You'll reach that goal of, let's say there's different ways to get rich, right? You'll reach that goal, but it's going to be very slow. So maybe you reach like 60 or 70 and you got a lot of money, right? You did reach wealth, but you're already old, so what's the point of it? When you reach that wealth, what's the point of that wealth? You're going to pass it on to your kids. Your kids will be lazy and they're not going to know what to do on their own. It's pretty dumb. Like, that's why you see most people, when they're rich and they die, they donate the money to different charities instead of giving the wealth to their children, because it will make their children independent or dependent on that. You want your children to be their own person. Let's say Mike Tyson had a kid and the kid wanted to be a soccer player. If you just give that money to his son, the son won't have to be a soccer player, and instead, what is he going to be? A lazy bastard that doesn't do anything, right? That's not what we want. We want to create good kids, right? So don't do that, bruh. The slow lane, take that out. The sidewalk lane, basically, you make a ton of money, right? And these are celebrities, right? They're basically where they're making a ton of money, but they're consuming more than they produce. So they consume, and then they consume more and more, and then they have nothing. Like, if they make 1,900, instead of investing back into the business or instead of saving that money, they're spending like 1,500 on it. They're spending more than 50% of what they make. They're spending like 70% of what they make for the lifestyle or for the clout or for to look good, right? So there's only one choice. If you take out the sidewalk lane and the slow lane, it brings you to one choice: the fast lane. And so what the fast lane is basically you making a lot, but you're living under your means. Let's say you live like 20% under your means, right? So let's just say like you make 10K per month, right? 10K per month from like whatever business you're making. And so let's put 20% of 10K. And when you get 20% of, oh my God, $2,000, you spend only $2,000 on like things you want to F around, right? And you don't want to do lifestyle inflation. It's dumb. Like, oh, if I make this, I need to spend more. If I do this, I need to spend more. No, don't do that. If you spend $2,000, that's just for you. And then you invest the rest back into your business or save it. Because once you give into consumerism and you make a lot, what happens? You become a sidewalker. So live under your means and you'll be in the fast lane. You don't need Gucci. You don't need that new car. You don't need that. Those are things that only people that are unhappy buy. You are happy because you have family. You are grateful for having a roof, being in a room. Like, if I made 10,000 right now, probably I just get to go to a better gym and get my license, because I don't got it yet, because it's $500. That's crazy. And help my mom and dad pay for this rent. I won't inflate my life. Because when you start to kind of trade your time for money, you go back to the slow lane. So basically, if you work on a business and it's taking you 24 hours to work on that business, you're working it, and you can't work on the things that you don't want to work on, like you're not able to go to the gym, you're not able to meditate, you're not able to gratitude, then it's not worth it. It's not worth it. So don't do it. Don't trade your time for money. If it's that, like, people have like there's a certain threshold, and people think like, oh, why don't you just scale up? Like, you're already high, so you can't stop now. So scale up. Put all your time into it. Scale up. But if your health and everything else around you is deteriorating, your relationships is deteriorating, you're not spending enough time with your children, and everything's deteriorating, at least you're getting money, right? No. There's a certain threshold in the fast lane where you're making that money, but you're not working that hard. Let's say you record videos every morning, and then I start to make 10K per that I'm in the fast lane, because I'm not trading my time for money. Necessarily I am, but it's about the views, right? So like, if I trade this for money, then more people will watch it, and then I'm not really trading my time for money, if you kind of understand what I'm trying to say to you. So necessarily, you gotta hit the sweet spot, right? So let me do a full understanding of this, right? You're out of college, you just got out of high school, you got a job, right? Let's say you make $12 an hour, right? You make $12 an hour, and you get a full-time job. So basically, hold up, you make 96 per day. You work, so 96, you make 96 per day, and you work like Monday through Friday, right? And you get 480. You make 480 per week, right? You make $400.80 per week. And so what you want to do in your spare time, because you will have spare time, because once you come home, don't play video games, don't jack off, don't do dumb stuff, don't waste your time, don't be a dumbass. Focus on the things you need to focus, like your YouTube channel, your business, whatever you're working on, while you're working that full-time job. And then slowly reduce your hours while you're like, once you start to make an income out of that business that you're working on. For example, my YouTube channel, if I get monetized and start to work, and this, like, I start to get monetized and start to get paid on this, it's increasing while I decrease mine and focus more time on this, while this is increasing more, and then I slowly cut it off, and then boom, it's cut off, and I'm working only on this, and I spend time on this. And let's say I spend 2 hours on this, I'm only making a little bit. Now I can focus it on more and make more, but that's not what we want to do. What we want to do is do things that will higher our quality for this 2 hours. And how to higher that quality is through improving ourselves. Because if we don't improve ourselves in our life, then how the heck are we going to improve our business, right? So read books, go to the gym, meditate. Because there's like a saying where you only have a certain amount of brain power, and if you're not doing your peak brain power, then it's just not worth it. But if that 2 hours specifically, your brain power goes all into that 2 hours, that 2 hours could be worth millions, billions, trillions, instead of just spans of other trash things. Like, oh, you spend 12 hours, but you're not giving it your all. your health is deteriorating, and then the fast lane is not worth it anymore because you're trading your time for money, your health is deteriorating, and you feel like shit. I said a bad word, astaghfirullah. But yeah, like I said, if you want more in depth of how to get out of the 9 to 5 rat race, there's a link in the description below talking about how to do that. That's enough for me. See you. Have a good rest of your day.